Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mr. News Art Class. It is wonderful to see your smiling faces. I have a friend joining us today. John, what's your name? Your name is John. Say John. Everybody say hi, John. All right, they just said hi to you. Say hi back to them. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
This is my son, John. He's going to help me today. Today we are talking about beginning with the end in mind. When we begin with the end in mind, that means we start with a plan or at least an idea of what our picture is going to look like. John, what are we going to draw today?
Cupcake.
Cupcakes! Yeah, everybody loves cupcakes. Now you can start with any materials you like. John, what's your favorite thing to draw with?
Sharpie.
Sharpies. We got this big old bag of Sharpies here that John loves to draw with, so that's what we're going to draw with. You can use whatever supplies you have. Crayons, markers, colored pencils, anything, it doesn't matter. But if we're drawing a cupcake on this big paper right here, John, I have a question for you. Should we draw one big cupcake or a bunch of little cupcakes? We should draw one big cupcake instead of a whole bunch of little cupcakes. Why should we do that? If we draw a bunch of little bitty cupcakes, are people going to be able to see it? No, if we draw little bitty things, then people aren't going to be able to see it. But if we draw it bigger, people are going to be able to see it. So that's first thing about beginning with the end in mind. We know that we need to make our drawing big. Thing number two, we need to think about what the different parts of a cupcake are. John, what are the different parts of a cupcake?
Icing.
Icing on top.
Cupcake wrapper.
The wrapper that wraps around it. And then what's between the wrapper and the icing? What's on the inside?
The cupcake.
The cupcake, yeah. So there's three parts to a cupcake, right? There's the cupcake itself. There's the liner, the paper wrapping around it. And then there's the icing on top. Do you sometimes like to put things on top of the icing on your cupcakes?
Yes.
What do you like to put on top of your cupcakes?
Cherry.
Cherries? I thought you were going to say... Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say. Sprinkles. We all love sprinkles on our cupcakes. All right, so get your art supplies ready. John, we're going to start with the cupcake liner. What color do you want the cupcake liner to be?
Red.
I'm not surprised that you want it to be red. I'll do mine red too, just to make it the same as yours. Let's get that bag out of the way. And here's how we're going to start. Should we draw a little bitty cupcake liner? No, we want it to be big. We want it to be as wide as the whole paper. Should we draw the cupcake liner up at the top?
No.
Why not?
Because then it will be upside down.
Oh, then the cupcake would be upside down. We need the cupcake liner at the bottom. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start right here in the middle of our paper, and we're going to make a zigzag line. Can you see my zigzag line? You see how this is? And that's going all the way across the page. That's going to be the top of our cupcake liner. Make it go all the way across the page. It's like writing a W next to a W, next to a W, next to a W, next to a W. That's good. There we go. Now, coming down from the two sides, we're going to angle in, because cupcakes are a little bit smaller at the bottom than they are at the top. So we're going to angle down and angle down. So see how the bottom here is a little bit narrower, it's not as wide. And then we're going to make a straight line across the bottom. That's the cupcake liner. Now, cupcake liner is like made of paper that's folded back and forth, right? And so everywhere where it folds, we need a line. We need a line, and 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 a line. That makes a pattern, doesn't it? Line, 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 line. It's a pattern. A pattern is anytime something repeats. So it's just doing a line, and then a line, and then a line, and then a line. And that's good. Maybe one more. There we go. Okay, so we have drawn the cupcake liner. What do you think we should draw next?
The middle.
The middle, the cupcake. Now, the cupcake liner covers up part of the cupcake, right? We're only going to see a little bit of the cupcake sticking up out of the top of the cupcake liner. And then we're going to see a big pile of icing on top of that, right? What color do you want your cupcake to be?
Green.
Green? You want a green cupcake? Okay. Let's switch our colors out. Get yourself a green. If you're doing this at home, you can do whatever color you want. The cupcake is gonna be a big bump that comes all the way from the right side to the left side. Just one big bump, like that. Yeah, you made yours a little bigger than mine. That's fine. Cupcakes sometimes are, bumpier up top or flatter on top. Either way, it doesn't matter. Now, what color do you want the icing to be?
Blue.
Blue? I'm gonna do blue icing too. When you eat cupcakes, do you like them to have just a little bit of icing on top, or do you like them to have a big old pile of icing on top? Big old pile, right? You when you eat cupcakes, you usually lick the icing and sprinkles off the top and then throw the cupcake away.
I don't do that. I just eat the whole cupcake.
You eat the whole thing? Okay. Well, you might be one of those people who likes just a little bit of icing, or you might be one of those people who likes a big old mountain of icing, and you decide how to draw the icing on top of your cupcake. And there's a real easy way to choose how you're going to draw it, if it's going to be just one layer or lots of layers. Either way, you start the same. So John, follow along with me here. What we're going to do is we're going to, right on top of this bump, but not quite as wide, we're going to start a little bit of the ways in, and we're going to make a wavy bump on top. A nice thin wavy layer. Okay. Now if you like just a little bit of icing on your cupcake, you could leave it like that, or maybe make a little peak in the middle. If you like a big mountain of icing, you keep making more of these wavy layers. Now John, yours is a smooth curve. Let's make them in wavy layers. Watch.
Black.
You see how I'm waving? See how I'm making it a wavy line? And you see how the next layer is not quite as wide? Oh, you're going to do different colored layers? That's cool. There we go. And then when you're at the very tippy top and you're ready to finish off the icing, a lot of times you see a little peak that tips over. So what I'm going to do is draw sort of a hook shape on the top of my icing. Like that. Oh, you got a crayon in that bag.
Yeah.
So that's it for the cupcake. We've drawn the cupcake liner, the cupcake, and the icing. Now it's time for toppings. John said you like a cherry and you like sprinkles, right? Mm-hmm. So cherries are red. Grab a red. Let me show you how to draw a cherry. If you put a cherry where it is sitting on top of the icing, then it would just roll off the side, right? What we want to do is stick it down into the icing. How do we do that? We do that with something called overlapping. Overlapping is where we draw it to look like it's behind something instead of on top of something. So am I going to see the whole circle or just part of the circle for the cherry?
Part.
Just part. So you decide where you want to put the cherry, and I'm drawing a circle. Notice that that circle goes under the icing right here. I didn't draw the whole circle. And then we want a stem on top of that cherry, right? And then what I like to do to make it look even more like a cherry is put a little round thing right where the stem meets the cherry. Here we go. Now, you want sprinkles, right? Mm-hmm. Do you like the little dot sprinkles or the little line sprinkles?
Line.
Then here's how we do that. We make a little line. And then we make a little line. And then we make a little line and a 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 line. And don't let those lines go the same direction. We want them to be lots of different directions, and we want them all to be really little lines. We don't want long lines. We want lots of little lines for our sprinkles. And we don't want them on the cupcake itself. We just want them in the icing. And if you like the dot kind of sprinkles, you can make dot sprinkles too, just by making dots and spread them out. Don't put all of your sprinkles together in one spot.
Hey, can you put some sprinkles on top of the cherry?
I would leave the cherry alone because think about if you had an actual cupcake, would the sprinkles stick to the cherry?
No.
No, they would stick to the icing because icing is sticky, but the cherry is kind of smooth on the outside, so they would just fall off of it. So I wouldn't draw any sprinkles on the cherry, but I can draw sprinkles on the icing. All right, are you done with your sprinkles? Mm-hmm. Next, there's one last thing we want to do to finish off this picture. We need to put a plate underneath this cupcake. Now, here's how we're going to do that. I'm going to grab a black to do the outline of the plate.
Red.
You want a red plate? Mm-hmm. And to make our plate, it's going to be oval shaped, not a circle. It's going to be an oval. And it's going to overlap behind the cupcake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the side of the cupcake liner, not at the bottom. I'm going to start at the side of the cupcake liner. I'm going to make a big oval that bumps out, comes down below the cupcake, and then ends up at the side of the cupcake liner
like
again.
This?
And you see how that overlaps behind the cupcake. Now the cupcake is on a plate. Yeah, good job. And you might also be able to see the edge of the table beyond the edge of the plate. So up here behind the top of the cupcake liner, we'll make a straight line that overlaps behind the cupcake there. That's the edge of the table. Go ahead and do that, John.
Blue.
All right. Now all that's left is to color your cupcake liner, your icing, your plate, and your table, and the wall in the background however you want. You can use whatever colors you want. It's totally up to you.
And the cherry?
And the cherry. Or you could leave it completely just a line drawing. It's totally up to you. Was that fun, John? Yeah? Would you like to eat that cupcake? Yeah? Yeah, me too. Me too. These look delicious. Thanks for joining me today, John. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. And I hope that you all are staying safe and healthy during this crazy COVID-19 quarantine situation. Ta-ta.